Hello everybody, Jake here and welcome to the hobby. In today's video, we are talking about how promo cards have been popping off over the past couple of weeks. A bunch of promo specific cards are just getting really expensive. Sometimes people like to ask me why this is happening. There usually is not a triggering moment, but sometimes people just start seeing, oh, this card is starting to get more expensive. And as certain cards get more expensive, everyone starts to get into the same mentality of, oh my goodness, I have to pick up this card if it's getting more expensive. I have to have it now, and FOMO starts taking over. And I do expect whenever a card to see large spikes of value jumps like this, they're going to come back down a little bit. It'll never go back down to probably 20 bucks, but it's probably going to be a little bit cheaper than where it's currently at, which is $75 for a raw copy and upwards of $400 for a PSA 10 copy. Between the Kingdra EX and the Greninja EX, when I reviewed this Shrouded Fable illustration collection box last year, I said the Kingdra EX was the better of the two, and good art recognizes good art, and eventually the Kingdra EX did become the more expensive of the two because I would just say it's more of an exquisite card compared to the Greninja EX. Not that the Greninja EX is bad, both are really expensive. The Greninja EX is about $15 cheaper than the Kingdra EX right now for raw copies, but both graded copies of the Greninja and Kingdra are about the same price. Greninja EX is doing some kind of Naruto Rasengan move right here, which is pretty cool too. They're both great cards, but promo cards are just climbing left, right, and center. I knew that these were going to be good pickups, so I still have a couple of the sealed boxes. These are great for display. I knew that they would be great for display. I didn't hoard these. Just so you guys are aware, we gave away like a dozen copies of these Greninja EX and Kingdra EX last year for the release of Shrouded Fable. I gave away a dozen copies of these because I knew that these would be great products for any collector. And when there's a card that I like, I tend to give it away more often than not. So we've given away a lot of cards that I like rather than cards that I dislike, if that makes sense. So those were really great pickups. And then we have ourselves the 151 Ultra Premium Collection, the Mew EX, as well as the Mewtwo Illustration Rare. Both of these cards have been popping off really, really hard as well. The Mew EX is going for upwards of $60, and the Mewtwo is currently going for right around $30. There are equivalent populations of both in terms of Mewtwo's and Mew EX. They're both really expensive. The reason the Mew EX is considered a little bit more desirable, Mew is just a little bit more popular. It's just a little bit more cute. It is an SIR technically, even though you can't pull it inside of a set. If this card was inside of our English 151 set, it would be our #1, if not our #2 top chase card. But I mean, $750 for a PSA 10 copies is insane for a card that came inside of every single UPC for free. If you purchase the UPC, you get this card. We still have a ton of copies of this card inside of my collection as well, and the Mewtwo, just randomly available because we just open up a ton of 151, and if you wanted to open up 151, you ended up opening up a couple of the Ultra Premium collection. And great promo cards will rise slowly, and the Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno has finally seen some serious jumps over the past couple of months. I mean, it was going for $16 as a raw copy last year, and it's finally seeing some valuation increase. If you look at it for the longest time, the Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno Tag Team GX used to be like a $60 card. Before this, it used to be a $200 card, and then it went down to 60 bucks, and now it's finally seeing that climb. But every card is seeing climbs nowadays, so this is not unique to this card. Some other great promo cards that have awesome illustration arts that are climbing includes the Charizard V Star from the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection. Really seeing strong climbs, going up for $700 in a PSA 10. And that goes for the Charizard V, the Sleepy Charizard V, as well as the Charizard V Max. All these cards inside of the Charizard Ultra Premium Collection, which is a really cool UPC, is now just constantly climbing. Charizard V Max, again, you can see that same kind of steady climb. Something absolutely happened with this card around June to July. It was going for $200, and then it suddenly just popped off. And this is another thing that I like to talk about too, is collectibles like to spike in value. They don't like to slowly, steadily climb. They like to do this thing where they just spike in value. And that's because the supply and demand of collectibles is just really inefficient. When there is a tiny increase in demand, it can create a real shortage in supply because the supply isn't out there. Kingdra EXs are not being produced right now. There's not more of them. So for a Kingdra EX to exist, someone has to list it from their collection, and that's not very efficient. Someone has to think, oh my goodness, this card just recently jumped up to $70. I better go list it on the market. And they might not do that. They might be sleeping on that. They might not have recognized that this card jumped because people are not tracking card prices on a day-to-day basis. But you can if you want, if you'd like to get up-to-date data, if you like and enjoy the interface that I'm currently showing you, you can all check it out on the Collector app. The Collector app is my go-to app for tracking my collection and pricing all of my cards. I have my whole entire collection tracked on the Collector app, and they are also a huge sponsor of our channel. Check them out. The Collector app is just a fantastic place to keep track of your whole entire collection, as well as seeing other people's showcase. So you can see my whole entire collection on the Collector app. I actually need to update it because I've added some cards to my collection and I've removed some cards from my collection. Did they really have to put me right next to Steve Aoki, who has a significantly larger collection? This is Steve Aoki's personal collection. He's got a Latios Gold Star, a Lugia First Edition, PSA 9. He has a really nice collection. So if you want to see Steve Aoki's whole entire collection, or if you want to see my whole entire collection, or if you want to see Pokebeer's collection, you can see all of our collection actually listed on the Collector app, just so you guys can see what other collectors have. And if you like and enjoy the interface, Collector is really awesome for just tracking your whole entire collection. So check them out. They're a huge sponsor of our channel. And outside of the Charizard promo cards, some other ones that I wanted to call out are obviously the Vaporeon VMAX, the Flareon VMAX, as well as the Jolteon VMAX and their V counterpart again. So these are going to be a prime example of what's probably going to happen to some of these other promo cards that are a little bit cheaper, is that good art recognizes good art and they eventually just start climbing up. Good collectors are going to know what the best art cards are. None of the cards that I'm showing in today's video are shocking or surprising that they are highly desirable or they're getting more expensive, because if you're someone that starts collecting cards, you can recognize a cool card when you see one. It's not very secretive what a good promo card looks like. All of the cards that I've showcased in today's video, the Kingdra EX, the Greninja EX, the Mew EX, the Mewtwo, like all of these cards are fantastic illustration rares that would be incredibly, incredibly expensive if they were inside of any sets as a chase or something for you to pull. But because they were promo cards, they start off really, really, really cheap. This Charizard V-Star was going for as low as $10 for a copy. And if you look at the Mew EX, it used to go for $5 to $6. This is such a freebie. I still sell a copy of this card on pretty much every one of my live stream. And I used to sell it earlier this year for $20. People were picking up the Mew EX from my stream for $20 because that's how much it was going for. But obviously, good art eventually gets out there and people start to recognize them and they start to climb and climb and climb. So really cool. That's happening to pretty much all the cards that you can expect. The market is just really cyclical for popular cards. It's not surprising that some of these cards are going for $700 in a PSA 10, $400 in a PSA 10. If you look at the prices on some of the really desirable one, like the Vaporeon VMAX, which is one of my favorite artworks from the whole entire Sword and Shield era. This card I literally put as an S tier art rare because of how amazing and gorgeous it looks. It does not surprise me that it is $800 in a PSA 10. I do have a copy of this card inside of my collection raw. I never picked up a PSA 10 copy of it. I didn't need to pick up a PSA 10 of it because I'm not an EV collector, but I do have a raw copy of this card inside of my collection, and it's probably going to stay in my collection forever. I still have a sealed box of the Vaporeon VMAX, Jolteon VMAX, and Flareon VMAX, because again, they are fantastic art pieces. So if you're someone out there that is trying to figure out what cards are underrated, you don't have to look that hard. There will be really, really gorgeous illustration rares and promo cards released inside of products all the time, and these are constantly slept on. It is not surprising to anyone that this Kingdra EX with a gorgeous art piece is now incredibly expensive and desirable. It's shocking to me that it was $8 on release and readily available. And we gave away a ton of copies of it, and now these Kingdra EX and Greninja EX boxes are going for like $100 when I picked them up for $20. And And that's the way, actually, I'm okay with it, and it's the way it should be, is that these should be available on release. And if you wanted to pick up 10 copies of this, you should be able to. But over time, you should be rewarded for making some correct choices on what is a cool collectible. So I'm not surprised that this is expensive right now. It's a cool display item. I like keeping some sealed products on display, so this is going to be on my display, which is the right way to do it as a collector. Is if you have cool art, you should display it, and if it's currently stuck inside of my closet and not being displayed, then that's something I'm going to think about. Do I want to display it? And if I don't want to display it, then it might mean I don't need it inside of my collection. So I'm slowly downsizing my collection. And over the next couple of months, I'm going to update this number. It's not accurate. I'm pretty sure it's gone down by probably 20,000 because I've sold off some cards inside of my collection. But it's not going to look significantly different from what you guys see. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Just recognize that good promo cards are going to climb. That's going to happen to them. So it doesn't surprise me that cards are climbing. Don't buy at the peak though. This Kingdra EX is most likely peaking out at $75 a copy, and it's going to see a dip. That's what you typically see, is cards will spike, and then they'll fall a little bit, and then they'll spike, and then they'll fall a little bit, and then they'll spike, and then they'll fall a little bit. And you can see that cycle right here. PSA 10, going down, going down, going down. Oh, it's going back up. And then it's going down, going down, going down. Oh, it's going back up. It's going back up. So it's fun when cards do that. That's just the way cards work. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you guys next time.